Hi, everybody, and welcome to Reed's Read Spider-Man Crawlspace Edition. Check us out at the SpiderManCrawlspace.com. Well, everybody, I'm here, of course, to record, the most latest wonderful issue of Amazing Spider-Man with issue 33, aka 927, as we begin the Spider-Man's first hunt, aka the sins of Norman Osborn that did not reside in Peter. So what did we think as this new story arc kicks off with a new, darker return to the black costume Spider-Man? Well, let's get to the pros. One thing I will say here is this issue is beautifully paced from style, art, script, and everything by Patrick Gleason. He really makes this a really good issue. It's very dark. The frustration, the fear from Kraven to, of course, everything with Peter Parker, to even the emotional parts from the civilian ideas for Norman Osborn, as well as when Peter actually gets the black costume, is very well done. This is very reminiscent of why Kraven's Last Hunt was the most popular book by the artwork as well as some of the darker structures of it. There's some nice pieces of it probably using this. And it really has as a dark ones and how, Spider-Man feels very satisfied because, as you say, he's now feeling a lot like how Norman Osborn does. Of course, Osborn's sins originally being apathy and, of course, greed and later on wrath after, of course, he became the Green Goblin. But the problem is that's where the story stops. This is Zeb Wells on the cons trying to actually redo his own version of Kraven's Last Hunt, as well as a little bit of Soul of the Hunter. Everybody knows how much of a favorite I am, too, and I always give other writers stuff, and J.M. DeMatteis is probably one of my favorite writers from the last 30 years of Spider-Man, with a couple other ones on, from, Stan Lee to, of course, Tom DeFalco to, of course, J. Michael Straczynski. However, here it is. It tries to be Kraven's Last Hunt when it's not Kraven's Last Hunt. Basically, as we have, as why Spider-Man even admits, too, that this is technically Kraven's son, or if you want to, his clone, if you look at everything else, and him even admitting that he is not his father. He's basically trying to pay him back for the sins of the father by making him go through the thing, giving him the injection of the drug, putting him, burying him alive, and do it. And why it's very dark and very upset, and you can kind of see some of that old rage coming out in Peter, which was made sense. It seems to just really just not do good and crap on Kraven's Last Hunt, as well as Soul of the Hunter that actually dealt with the aftermath of everything with this too. It's not really how it's going to be. It's the old classic is Zeb Wells has got a car, we're in the fast lane, we're on for the ride, and then he hits the bumper and crashes it without doing the landing. Here we got that pieces, but it also does little things of not doing very well to the original thing. Here we have Norman Osborn staring outside the window going, oh, Peter, so sad. Where did you go? Kind of how Mary Jane was during the original Kraven's Last Hunt, as well as a kind of nod to, of course, Richter Howard's, of course, dying scene in Blade Runner where he talks about tears in the rain, which is exactly how it is. You understand that Peter, if given this chance and took away his invitations and everything else, would actually probably want to seek revenge, but as we know, Kraven is dead. We had him brought back to life in a horrible storyline, only to have it reset by Nick Spencer, and as they say, Kraven the Hunter is dead, long live Kraven the Hunter. And we're given this, where basically Kraven is basically throwing exactly what Peter went through all those years ago, and now basically regretting, like, maybe I should have just left things alone because I wanted to, give Norman, and I wanted to outdo my father, and now I've kind of screwed myself. And even the part where he throws the gun into the casket, say, hey, in case you want to skip ahead, here you go, and he says no, and of course buries him alive. It's trying to be Kraven's Last Hunt, but in a very wrong tone that does not work for the storyline and really doesn't make it work. It's great artwork. I love the Dag Atmosphere. It's an interesting avenue to go down, but the fact that Zeb Wells tries to make it his version of Kraven's Last Hunt does not work. So henceforth, I'm giving the grade a C. I'm being kinder to the fact the artwork is very well and the pace in the story is actually done. And I will have that both to Gleason and even Wells and how that works to the beginning and end of that. But when it's all said and done, we're basically trying to get a retrend of Kraven's Last Hunt, which, as we all know, is the best Kraven's the Hunter storyline out there. But as they say, we've gone to that well so many times to either undo it, redo it, undo it, redo it, do it with a different person, do a different character, especially when just a year ago we had the Lost Hunt, which actually dealt with a better aftermath with Gregor the Hunter and actually dealing with everything that had happened to Peter during those. Basically, J.M. DeMatteis has dealt with the Kraven's Last Hunt, both the beginning, the aftermath, and the far aftermath, and moving on past that. And here we're just bringing up that trends again, because why not? It was one of the best storylines 30 years ago. Let's do it again. That's the problem with this one. They keep doing it their way, just like the upcoming Gang War and everything. How many times have we seen the Spider-Man Gang War from everybody after David Michelinie did it? Many, many times. It just doesn't work. So this will get a C from me. That's all I have to say. But you know what? I do have to say I love the cover and I love the artwork. So we got that going for it. And on that note, guys, I'm out of here. It's a very simple and sweet little review here. So I'll be back in a couple weeks to see how this storyline will continue. And of course, for more information, please check us out.